Welcome to Hassle-Free RE, the show where we share tips, tricks, and stories from the short-term rental industry and business alike. Hosted by Dave Menapace and Will Van Wickler. They'll help you navigate the exciting and ever-evolving world of short-term rentals. Whether you're a seasoned host or just starting out, they've got something just for you. In each episode, they'll bring you insider insights, expert advice, and real-life stories from hosts and industry professionals who have been through it all. They'll cover everything from maximizing your rental income and profits to creating unforgettable guest experiences and handling unexpected day-to-day challenges with ease. Are you ready to discover the secrets to running a successful short-term rental business without the hassle? Then let's get started. This is Hassle-Free RE.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode. I guess we're calling it Hassle-Free RE now with my man, Will Van Wickler, New England's #1 short-term rental real estate agent, and myself, Dave Menapace, president and 5-star co-host, co-founder of Launchpad Consulting, and newest member of Keller Williams Realty. So we have some more fun, exciting things to talk about on that front in future episodes. And by the time this comes out, we'll actually already be rocking and rolling on that front. So anyways, with that, Will, how you doing, my man?
I'm good. I'm ready to jump right in. How are you?
I love it. I love it, dude. I love it. You know, this is one of my favorite times every single week. We love educating folks. We love bringing you information. And we got a really interesting and neat, fun question to talk about, to cover on today's call. We'll keep it short, brief, and actionable for everybody. The question was how to start getting people off the OTAs. And OTAs meaning Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com. Not necessarily how do you take over with a direct booking website, but how do you thoughtfully start to transition people, especially returning guests, off those sites and onto your own brand.
How the question was pitched, right? It was like, I'm so grateful for these sites, and how do I slowly start to diversify, right? So it wasn't, let's dump them all, which I think is everyone's sentiment. It's like, no, there's a lot of value that they provide, but let's have another option. So I love this question, and I can't wait to jump in.
Totally. Now, so let's talk about that. There's a few different ways to do it, of course, right? But, you know, in your world, in my world, time is precious. We're usually trying to think of different automated ways to collect contact information from our guests. And what we'll say is that Airbnb and VRBO, they don't want guests to come off the platform. So they're now encrypting email addresses for guests. They don't encrypt the phone number, but they're making it more difficult. And if you start to bring up the D word, direct booking, in your messages, AI, that, you know, Airbnb and VRBO do have artificial intelligence that comes through those messages, they could be pretty unhappy. They might threaten to shut you down. Have I seen that happen? Not too much, but I have seen it happen on occasion. So the first way to do this is collecting information from the guests so you can actually communicate with them. So Will, what are some ways that folks can gather contact information from a guest?
Yeah. The easiest, low cost, low tech way is simply at the end of their stay, shooting them a text and just saying, hey, it's Will, the host. Hope you had an awesome time. I'd love to stay in touch with you if you want to come back. And if you want to save some money on fees, what's a good email for you? I'm going to shoot you some information, put you on our newsletter for deals, discounts, exciting news in the area, etc. Right? So notice it's off platform. It's hopefully after the guest has had a great experience, right? Because how many times do you get asked for your email? You're like, no, I don't know enough about that. But if you've already built rapport with them through the platform and built trust, they know Will's a nice guy. He's a great host. We loved his house. And it's a pretty simple ask, right? So that's really the most low tech way to do it. If you're maybe starting out or maybe only have one property, that's a great way to do it. But there's also higher tech ways, right?
Yeah, and what I'll say, I just want to add to what you said. Particularly if you have one or maybe just a few properties, It's a really fantastic free way, just like Will said. And one way you can actually start that conversation off platform, which again, there's risks to taking discussions off platform. If something goes south, you want that discussion to be on platform so it's visible to everybody. But let's just say we're living in a perfect world. Some folks will send like a quick video message right when a guest checks in. Hey, I hope you have a fantastic stay. Here's my favorite restaurants. Here's my favorite things to do in the area. Here's how you use this amenity in the home. Just like a quick 1-minute video, and it sort of starts that discussion and it really ups the hospitality. At 30 plus properties, it's a little trickier for us to do it these days. But again, we're trying to gear this towards actionable steps for homeowners. Um, and then you can do something similar on the back end, just like Will said. So you can sort of personalize it in that way. Now, there are higher tech options that aren't challenging, but there's a cost associated. Our personal favorite is email capture, but not just from the guest, but from all the guests that are staying there. How do we do that? We use StayFi, StayFi. StayFi is just a Wi-Fi access point that easily plugs into the back of your existing Wi-Fi router. There's a setup situation that you do, and it makes it so guests, when they want to get on the Wi-Fi, they have to enter their email address in. You then have that email address to remarket your home back to the guests, right? And so we'll talk about direct booking sites in a minute, but that is my personal favorite. And in that landing page, we don't require it, but guests can also add their phone number. It's totally optional, and they can opt out of doing it. But a lot of them do that. So now we have phone numbers from all guests that stay there and emails. We're up to several thousand of each of them. Makes it a lot easier to start doing your marketing to guests and get them off the platform, and also gives you an opportunity to add value to them by sharing things that are happening in the area, um, text, phone call, email. So that's my personal favorite. And there are a few others, but I'll pause there for a sec.
Yeah, what I liked that you said is all guests, right? So if you do the old fashioned kind of caveman method, you just get the person who booked the house, right? But a lot of these properties, at minimum, are sleeping 6, 7, 14, 16, 20 people, right? You get to capture all those people because how many devices are on your network? Everybody is connected to the internet, right? Like almost
Yes.
everybody. So you might as well try to capture all of them, right? Because that's
Yeah.
14 other people that could be in
Yeah.
your database that you could be marketing to. And even
Yeah.
co-hosts out here, right? Like maybe
Hmm.
those people want to purchase a property and need management. I mean, there's so many great ways to do this. And it's all just about providing value, and people want to save money, right? So
Totally.
capturing everybody's email, not just the one person who booked it.
Yeah, and in that landing page for StayFi, just so you know, um, that is where I promote other services. So I'm not making people click through that or spamming them in any way. It's just on the landing page when they go to enter their email, right when they get in, they get redirected to another page. That page has an ad for my co-hosting business. It has an ad for our consulting business. It has a ad with Will's name on it for buying and selling across New England, but it's helping us actually support the local community as well as some of the other vendors that we support, like a family photographer or home massage or home chef, things like that. And again, that's adding value. And I have gotten co-host clients from that landing page because they were so impressed with their stay. They loved, their experience at the home. And then they went ahead and they bought a home in that same area, and we were the first ones that they called to co-host for them, and it was really cool. It was really, really awesome. So that can be leveraged in a whole lot of ways. What I'll tell you is, as you go down this road with marketing, um, you're going to want to have a direct booking site. And may we kind of transition this into just like a quick hit on direct booking sites. What I tell people is, you can go with a big done for you direct booking site and spend a few $1,000s on it. You certainly can. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if that's your passion. Go for it. Do it. There's usually a booking widget you can pull out of your property management software so you can connect all the calendars. My personal favorite is creating a unique URL on GoDaddy and just using the template that is in the property management software
Yeah.
for the direct booking site. Hands down. Hands down.
The likelihood, we spoke about it last week, of you ranking when somebody searches 2-bedroom beach house Cape Cod rental, you're not going to rank, right? So why spend all this money when the site is a very clear, utility, right? I
Yeah.
tell real estate agents this all the time. Don't go spend thousands of dollars on a website. That's not where people find you, right? It's more of a validation thing and for people to get quick info, right? So the reason you have a
Totally.
direct booking site is so people can book direct, right? It doesn't need to convert anybody, because at that point they've already been converted, they've already been in your funnel, and they're a repeat guest likely. So
Totally.
no reason to spend thousands. And I think another great tip is have an Instagram or Facebook page for your property.
Yeah.
There's workarounds where, hey, go check out our Instagram, right? That can drive repeat traffic and direct bookings from past
Yeah.
guests, right? Make it a challenge in your house. If you want percentage off next day, tag us, right? Tag activities in the home, make it interactive. That's another great way to
Yes.
do some direct bookings, in my opinion.
Totally. And to add to that, and then I've got another one up my sleeve, is in your Airbnb and VRBO profile, there it's okay to put a social media, like not a link directly to it, but say what your Instagram page is, or your Facebook, or how people can find you that way, because then people will go into that. If anyone is sleuthy enough, they'll go into that, and then they'll go onto your Instagram page and they'll start taking a look at what's going on, and if you have a link to book directly there, you can get in that way. Another thing, and not a lot of people do this, I'm guilty of not doing it, but I've seen other people do it and definitely seen success. One of our houses, Chalet 76, does this. Have a Google business page. Having the Google My Business page for your home, not many houses do that. And so then when somebody wants to go book direct, you can put in your automated messages to guests that are staying at your property, hey, of course, we'd love to have a 5-star, review, on the Airbnb site, that, whatever. We'd super, super appreciate it if you could leave us a great review on our Google page, and tie that with some sort of promotion. At the end of the season, we'll do a drawing for a free weekend getaway for anyone that leaves a 5-star review on our Google page. And in Google, if you can start to actually really rank up in terms of how many reviews you have, that is really your one ticket to showing up right behind Airbnb, VRBO, Vacasa, and Home. They've paid for those top 4 or 5 spots, but if you want to show up right after that, get those Google reviews up, and you leverage getting email addresses from people, because then you can email them, ask them to leave you a review, or you can text them, like Will said, ask them to leave you a review. It's going to take some time, but you will reap benefits from that over about the course of a year or so.
Google My Business is such a powerful tool, and it's very location dependent, right? So if I were to search for Sunday River rental homes,
Yeah.
guarantee you it's going to pop up, because there's just not that many. And I think I wasn't even thinking of
Yeah.
saying that. That is such an underutilized tool for small businesses and properties. It also makes it easier to
Yes.
navigate to, right? How many times are guests asking for
Yes.
directions, right? If they can just look up, hey, Chalet 76 in this example, it's
Yeah.
already there. How awesome is that? Guests can tag their location, have photos, and the SEO, Google My Business, it's prioritized based on location. So super, super
It
strong.
really
It's all
is.
about building a brand. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I love about it too is when you open up Google Maps, which is probably the most used GPS, quite frankly, you open up Google Maps and just look at an area, that is going to pop up and show up as a location, as a business. So, yeah, don't underestimate that. It does take some work. But again, especially if you're a homeowner, you got one property, maybe two, and you have the energy, or you're bored at work and you want to knock some of this stuff out, it's really like these are activities that move the needle. These are the $10,000 an hour activities that are going to really help you benefit. So Instagram, Facebook, Google Business. If you're going to pick any of those, I would do Instagram and Google Business just as
Yep.
the top two. Leverage that in your messages to guests. Don't go asking them in the messages on the OTAs to book directly with you. text them like Will said, or my favorite, buy a StayFi disk, plug it in, start collecting email addresses, and then do some campaigns like this. Again, hey, free weekend off-peak getaway, off-peak weekend getaway. For anyone that leaves us a 5-star review, you'll be included in the raffle drawing second place prize, $500 off your next stay. Like, get people involved. And again, it takes work, but this is also how you build up a following. And the last thing I'll say is it does depend on the market, right? In some markets, like a beach market, it's really common to get repeat guests year after year after year. That's not always the case in some of the mountain markets. It might be once every 2 or 3 years, because not everyone necessarily wants to go to Sugarloaf or Breckenridge or Vail or wherever every single year. People do want to go to Sunday River every single year, but that's the unicorn. But what I'm saying is it might be every 2 or 3 years that they go because they want to try out different locations, and that's okay. Stay top of mind. Don't annoy them with your messages. Usually, I think the preferred cadence is like once a month, sending things 10 to 12 times a year. Somebody receiving something isn't enough to piss them off. Always lead with value. Don't just try and get bookings, right? Just giving a discount to book isn't necessarily going to get somebody to book. Lead with value, make it interactive, and build a brand around what you're trying to do.
Right. And some easy touch points, I think, are reaching out to past guests. Hey, we just opened X dates. Just wanted to reach out to you first. Hey, we're offering this discount. It's come from contribution. That's everything in this business and everything in this world, honestly, is come from contribution, lead with value, and they'll love you for it. So build a brand. I think my biggest thing is put in your bio, follow along our journey on Instagram. Bam, right? Great call to action there. It's all about making an offer for immediate response, something that's going to trigger a reaction on the other side where they'll take action and work with you directly.
I love it. I love it. So, Will, as we wrap this up, I want to just share a few announcements. These recorded sessions, or these sessions, though they're live on Thursdays at 3, they're also being put onto the Hassle-Free RE podcast. So if you ever miss one of these, go back and take a look at those. We release a new episode once a week. It's actually undergoing a new production team. So there was a quick pause, and that'll be starting back up in the next 1 to 2 weeks. Leave us a 5-star review. We'd love to hear what you enjoy about these shows. And we're always looking to add more and more value to folks on these weekly shows. We're going to be starting to get more interviews with folks. So folks are going to be joining us on these shows. So you might have 2 episodes in a week. And the very last thing I'll leave you with is we're looking for, I'd say, 3 sponsors for the show. So we're going to be opening up sponsorship opportunities. Again, we always want to lead with value and bring in sponsors that value that same thing, right? So we don't spam people. If you have a service that you think our listeners could benefit from and leverage to help them on their journey, we'd love to hear from you and see if you'd be a good fit for sponsorship. So with that, Will, did I miss anything?
That's it. I love it.
Boom.
If anybody needs anything real estate wise, willvanwickler.com. And if consulting, co-hosting, anything, Dave, how do we reach you?
DaveMenapace.com. You can book a time with me right from there. You can also find me on Instagram, Dave_Menapace, either online or right on Instagram is probably the quickest, easiest way to get a hold of me and my team. And at the end of the day, just trying to help everyone succeed and reach their goals.
That's it. All right. Well, we'll catch everybody next week. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Will.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Hassle-Free RE. We hope you found today's tips and stories as inspiring and useful as I did. Remember, success in the short-term rental industry is all about learning, adapting, and staying one step ahead. If you enjoyed the show, please take a moment to leave us a review or comment on your favorite platform. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more listeners like you. Plus, we'd love to hear your thoughts and any topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And follow us at Hassle-Free RE on social media for more tips and updates. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep it hassle-free.